welcome back to my channel. It's Breanna Nicole and I'm back from a very long break once again, and I'm so excited to bring this video to you guys. I'm going to be talking about Baselang today. If you guys don't know what Baselang is, I'm glad you guys are here because we're going to talk about it. It's an awesome website if you are learning Spanish. So let's just go ahead and get right into the video. So let's just talk about, first of all, what Baselang is. It's a platform where you can access on your desktop, your laptop, or even your iPad or smartphone. You do have to use your browser. They don't have an app just yet. I did reach out to the team and I did kind of ask if they were going to have an app coming out soon, and they did say that that was on their to-do list, but I'm not sure how long it'll take for them to create an app. So as of right now, it is strictly just the website. But it's an online website where you can find tutors for the same subscription price every single month, and you can practice with native teachers or native Spanish speakers every single day if you want to, once a week if you want to. It doesn't matter how many hours a day you want to practice. It's the same price for each month. It is very expensive in my opinion. It's about $149 a month. Like I said, that includes access to all of the teachers. You get one subscription per month, so you're not paying for each lesson with each teacher. It's just strictly that monthly base pay, and you have access to all of the teachers. So if you want to try a bunch of different teachers, it doesn't matter because that's within the price that you pay for your subscription. If you want to have an hour-long lesson or a 30-minute lesson, it doesn't really matter because it's all based on your subscription price. It's not going to change based on the length of your lessons. Not only that, with the flexible scheduling, because it is completely up to you, you do have access to over 450 teachers from Latin America. When I say Latin America, from what I notice is that most of the teachers on this platform are actually from Colombia or Venezuela. That's not to say that there's not other teachers from other places, but the vast majority of the people that I took lessons with were from Colombia and Venezuela. I did see a few teachers from Mexico, but like I said, the majority were from Colombia or Venezuela, so please keep that in mind as well. If you are interested in learning specific dialects, you can take a look on there, you can listen to the videos, and you can hear where they're from. A lot of times they actually say where they're from in their introduction videos, but just keep that in mind if you are looking to specifically learn a specific dialect. Baselang is also curriculum based. This can kind of go, a pro or a con depending on how you are as a person. I personally think the curriculum based is a great thing, especially if you're a person that really likes structure. So the curriculum is the same throughout. No matter what teacher you have, they pretty much have the same PowerPoint slides or the same little teaching slides that they use with all of the grammar points and things like that. So even if for some reason you can't take a lesson with one of your regular teachers that you really like, if you're doing a grammar lesson, you can pick someone else and they'll have the same material and you can pick up right where you left off. So I do really like that as well. What I really do like about the platform is just really the unlimited tutoring that I would have access to. I did use it, I want to say, for at least 2 months, I want to say. So I paid $149 twice. And when I used it, or when I did pay for it, I used it because I already spent money on it. I usually find myself, especially with websites like italki, I'll cancel a lesson and then I'll get my money back. And it's like with this one, I know that I necessarily can't because it's a subscription. And once I get my money taken out from my account, they're more than likely not going to refund me for it. So I need to make use of the monthly payment that I'm making. So it encouraged me to use the platform every single day, whereas in italki, I was like, if I don't feel like having a lesson or like I just don't feel up for it today, I'm not going to schedule one or I'm going to cancel and I'd get my money back. And it was very hard for me to stay motivated and to stay in a very consistent learning path on my journey to learning Spanish. Teachers are available pretty much all morning and all day. I worked a lot, I still work a lot, so it was sometimes very hard for me to fit lessons in during the week for me, especially some teachers on italki. I know that they have limited availability sometimes. So with this one, all of the teachers, not all of them, but all of the teachers that are on there have their availability set, but you will find someone that meets your schedule needs. I used to take lessons at night when I came home from work, which was a crazy thing to do, but it worked out for me, and there were a lot of teachers that were available at the time that I was available, so I had a nice selection to choose from. I also occasionally would take lessons in the morning before I went to work. I would take like 30-minute lessons. Usually an hour was really long for me, so I would take 30-minute lessons every day. I thought an hour a day for me was just excessive, especially because I speak Spanish every day at my job. But I would take half-hour lessons in the morning, and I felt like I was really learning and gaining knowledge, and it was amazing to be able to do that every single day. What I really love is the consistency throughout the curriculum. Like I said earlier, every teacher has the same PowerPoint slides for the most part. If you're learning a specific grammar topic and you can't reach your teacher that you normally have during the week for whatever reason, no matter the teacher you choose, you can let them know where you left off, or I believe they may even be able to see where you left off, and you can pick up right where you left off in the grammar lesson. So I really do love that. Of course, they try to teach their students the same way, so everyone has that same curriculum, that same way of teaching. Obviously, everyone has a different way of learning, but they try to keep it as consistent as possible, so there's not a lot of different variation. Another thing I really love about the app is that I'm able to, or the app, the website. Another thing that I really love about the websites, this website Baselang, is that it's very open to scheduling. I can schedule whenever I want to for the most part. So, like I said, I was very busy. Sometimes I wouldn't always schedule lessons because I didn't know how I was going to feel. Like right when I got home, I didn't know how I was going to feel after a long day of work. So I would just wait, and I would be able to schedule a lesson the same day. It wasn't necessarily guaranteed that I was going to be able to get the same teacher that I normally would choose, because other people book with your professor as well. They're not just your professor per se or your teacher. But I would still be able to book that same day. So I really loved having that as an option as well. Another thing that I found really helpful through this platform was actually the vocabulary list that they had. So they had a bunch of different vocabulary lists with a bunch of different subjects like animals, medications, travel, business. They even had like specific dialect or regional slang, like slang used in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Argentina, things like that. And it was really cool. There were actual lessons, so they were like PowerPoint slides. They would give you some words for vocabulary, but they would actually explain like what they meant if there was like a significant amount of history behind it or something like that. Within food, they would go over certain Latin dishes that are usually cooked in Latin kitchens and things like that, and they would go over the history of the food. So you weren't just learning the words necessarily, but you were learning also the history behind it. In context, so that was also very helpful. And you could also go over those vocabulary lists with your instructors if you choose, so I did like that as well. So there are a few things that I didn't like. With anything in life, there's always going to be something that I don't particularly like or anyone doesn't particularly like. It's very hard for everything to meet every single needs of every single person, so of course there's going to be things that I didn't like. The first thing that I really wasn't the biggest fan of was the limited variety of teachers. I don't think that that's necessarily Baselang's fault per se. Maybe it's just there's not a lot of people that are applying from different countries for Baselang, or maybe they're not aware of Baselang and maybe that's why. Or maybe Baselang is just not available for teachers in certain countries, so I'm not really sure. But the lack of variation for me was something that, it's not a big deal, but I would have loved to see more teachers from other countries as well, especially those who are interested in learning a specific dialect. Another thing that I found quite inconvenient for me was just not having an app. I don't mind using the website. Obviously, it's not that hard to maneuver the website, whether on your computer, your tablet, your phone, it's fine. But sometimes just having an app makes things easier, and it just makes things more seamless and convenient. So I do hope that they do come out with an app soon. And then honestly, let's just be honest, $149 is incredibly expensive, especially when we're talking about monthly. Obviously the price is literally insane, but I did the math, and depending on the teacher that you pick on italki or any other language learning platform, and depending on the amount of days that you plan on taking a lesson with the teacher, Baselang is really pretty much a deal for the majority of it. If you're interested in taking lessons more than once a week, it's definitely, in my opinion, worth it. If you have it, it's worth it. If you don't, then maybe not. But in my opinion, I think it's very worth it, just because, like I said, you have access to these teachers every single day at your disposal, whether it's 30 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, it doesn't matter, because you're paying one base price, a monthly subscription, and you can have as many lessons as you like for as many days a week as you like, and it doesn't matter, and that price will not change. So I really like that a lot, especially because if you're interested in taking lessons multiple days a week, that gets incredibly expensive if you're paying for each individual lesson through another platform such as italki. I will say that the lessons that are 30 minutes or an hour, any length of duration, it never really goes the full hour, the full 30 minutes. Around 5 to 10 minutes, around the last 5 to 10 minutes of a lesson, the teacher will usually end the session early, usually around 5 minutes, I won't say 10. They'll end that lesson early just so they can write notes about your progress and how you're doing in the class and stuff like that, and that's required for Baselang. You won't actually see those comments that they make, and you are also able to make comments for the teacher as well and give feedback for the teacher and how they're in their method of teaching as well. They won't actually see your comments either. But just know that the duration is not actually a full 30 minutes or a full hour. They do end around 5 minutes earlier than the set time. And of course, with this curriculum-based program, there are levels. So within the levels, you have exams, and in order to get to the next level, you have to pass the exam. That can be incredibly frustrating for someone who maybe doesn't necessarily want to take an exam. They know all of the material and they just want to bypass things without having to take exams, but that's not the way that Baselang works. So you do have to take exams and you do have to pass them to be able to move on to the next level. If you're not interested in doing grammar classes like that, you don't necessarily have to. You can have just regular conversations with your instructor or with your teacher, and they would be happy to do so. But those who are interested in learning grammar and who are interested in having actual lesson plans, like with the curriculum that they have already planned out for the students, you have to move up within the levels, and then in order to move up within the levels, you have to take an exam. So depending on how you are with exams and how you feel about exams, that may or may not be a pro or a con to you. For me, it wasn't something that was my favorite thing about the website. Overall, I believe that Baselang is an incredible website. I think that the concept of it is just honestly genius. I really enjoyed having access to teachers every single day, and I enjoyed having access to scheduling lessons for as many hours as a day as I wanted for the same base price of $149 a month. Like I said, I do realize that $149 a month is incredibly expensive. However, it wasn't something that I was doing long term. I just wanted to try it out and see it for myself. I do believe that I will be trying it again in the future just because I want to keep up on my Spanish skills, but as of right now, I'm not using it. But when I did use it, it was incredibly helpful. I progressed so fast because I was able to use it every single day, and just the base price of the monthly subscription just kept me motivated to keep practicing and to use what I was paying for. As of right now, the website is strictly for Spanish learners, so if you are learning other languages, unfortunately they do not have those available yet. In all honesty, I believe that this is very close to the immersion that you can get when you're in a foreign country. Obviously, it's not the same. It'll never be the same as going to the foreign country and studying the language that you're learning. However, it is an incredible experience and opportunity to be able to have an opportunity to practice the language you're learning every single day for the same price every month. Especially if you don't have the means or the funds or the ability to move abroad or to study abroad, especially since we're in a pandemic right now. So I believe that this is a great way to immerse yourself in a language if you are learning Spanish. I encourage you guys, if you can, try it. Your first trial period is actually just $1, so I 100% encourage you guys to give it a try, see how much you use it in a week, and based on how much you use it in a week, then maybe decide from there if you want to pay the full $149 a month, or you didn't really use it that much, maybe not at this time. So I highly recommend that you guys try out the trial period. If you guys do have any questions, don't forget to leave them down below. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.